Hey guys, welcome to the Game Precast, episode 27. My name is Frank. I'm joined by Mike. This is our podcast where we talk about all things gaming. We're going to be starting the show off today with some Biomutant first impressions. Now, a quick disclaimer, I did get the game from THQ Nordic. I was playing it for about maybe 24 hours before release, but that's not going to impact my decisions or thoughts at all because I honestly didn't like the game. I gave it a wait for a sale, and I don't know how much Mike's enjoying it, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper into our thoughts about what was going on with it. So, Mike, I know you're relatively short into it, maybe like the first 2 hours, 3 hours, right?
Around first 2 hours. I
Okay.
got out of the tutorial area and started to explore the world a little bit. Wait, so you didn't give it a number score?
I gave it a 6.5.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
about to ask if so. About a yellow on meta.
Yeah, it's
average,
like,
or slightly above average.
yeah, it's not worth $60. I'll say that. And then one of the biggest like defenses of this game is like, oh, it was made by a 20-something man team, and that is props to them.
No,
They did a
until you
fucking
told me.
fantastic job for 20-something people, but it was still a $60 game. So you have to like give them some leverage, but you can't give them much because they're still charging full price, right? Like I want to feel bad for them, but and I know they didn't have any impact on that decision. That was definitely the higher ups at THQ, but it's still a $60 game, and I'm expecting some basics, dude. Like the sound. Let's just start there for a second because that was one of my biggest problems with the game.
Go for it.
Oh my god! Now there's some things in particular, but the main thing is like the melee. It just sounds so cheap when you're just swinging with the sword. The guns sound okay, but the swords, oh my god, they just sound so bad. And then like the hit detection, and it just feels like there's no actual real connection when you're hitting someone with the sword.
Feedback at all?
Zero feedback. Some other issues I had with the sound. There's just like random things like a catapult, for example. You probably haven't experienced yet, but you can ride on a catapult, and it makes like zero sound. Like there's just different things like cutscenes where like the sound is so weird. There's the fact that like the characters aren't actually speaking to you, and they'll like say something in gibberish, which is fine. Like something like Breath of the Wild kind of did that, but you'd have the text boxes to read through it. In this, you don't really have that. You have a narrator translating it. So
Dude, don't even get me started on
so
that.
it's like the narrator's pretty much
never shuts up.
taking
He
up
never
every
shuts
character.
up.
So like then like you don't actually get a feel for any of these characters. Like you see what they look like and kind of like how they move, but that's about it. Like you don't actually feel for their personality because you're trusting the narrator who's just translating. And he's like, oh, he wants you to go over there and go look in that pile of clothes and see if you can find some crafting materials, and then go do that 3 more times.
That reminded me a lot of Maneater, to the point where I feel like it was almost like copying it, but I doubt that they actually went in with that intention.
At least
But it
in
was
Manager,
like
you're a
that
fucking shark. I mean,
Yeah, and it's like a satire documentary.
yeah, I
style
mean,
thing.
and
Like,
this
it fits. This guy, it's just every single time I just want to progress or get to gameplay or just get to the next line of dialogue because I read it faster than they're speaking it.
Yeah.
I still have to deal with this guy's voice in my ear. It's intrusive, at least to me. And I only played like an hour and a half, and I'm just like, Jesus, shut up already.
dude,
I don't know.
he continues for the entire game.
That tutorial was so annoying. I felt like it should have ended 10 times.
Oh yeah, it just
during
keeps
it.
going,
I mean,
dude.
It just keeps going, and it's all stuff that could just be introduced gradually throughout gameplay
Yeah.
instead of just in a linear, set of corridors. But here we are. That's the decision they made.
And it kind of rounds off to my thought like that. Not every game needs to be this giant like open world game. Like they knew going into this they had a small team, and they weren't planning on making the team any bigger. So why were they like, oh, let's go make a giant open world? Like, no, you don't need to do that. Like you can see,
To their credit, that's the best part of the game, at least to me so far.
There's parts of the open world I liked, but then there's like when you go in like interior buildings, it just looks. Dude, the interiors, like the actual outside world looks fine, but you could tell that's where they put all their effort when they're making the world. Because when you go into buildings, they're all copy and paste, like like the outpost kind of things. I'm sure you've probably dealt with at least one outpost by now.
No, like I said, I got out of the bunker. I saw one of like the divine beasts or whatever.
Think
they call them.
like a Far Cry outpost, kind of, right?
Yeah.
But instead of them all being different, they're copy and paste outposts, and their interiors are identical to the point where the NPCs are exactly the same. The chest, like random chests that they have throughout the world, like kind of quote unquote hidden, they are in the exact same spots in every outpost. Everything is a direct copy and paste. And then if you go to other buildings, like in like more like city areas of the game, all the interiors just look so empty, and it's like, I don't know, dude. It's tough, dude.
You think they bit off more than they can chew, or could
Exactly.
chew?
And it's like this game
I got that
has,
sense running around. I felt like some of the assets were unfinished
yeah,
almost, or at least there wasn't enough detail put into them as others. A lot of the foliage looks good. I'll give them
yeah,
that. And
I agree.
again, I mean, the lighting's done really well in my opinion. It is pleasant to look at. I'm not gonna lie. Especially the waterfall you come out to right in the beginning of the game, just that open valley. It looks really good on a 4K TV. I mean, I gotta
Well,
give it
I didn't
praise
get
there. It looks
4K.
beautiful. Oh,
PS5 version did not have 4K. That's one of the other things that was a big controversy before launch. So it was just 1080p, upscaling to 4K, and
I think it was 4K. It looked like
and now
4K.
well, did you play on Xbox?
Yeah.
All right, so you had the 4K version.
Okay.
Xbox
Yeah.
got 4K. PlayStation didn't. So
Is there reasoning behind
they
that?
said
Like,
they
is it
had
just
technical difficulties. So they said it's coming eventually, but they had some tech issues. Um,
all right.
Now, dude, upscaling can be done really well. Like, a great example of that is The Last of Us Part 2. It had great upscaling. Now, the upscaling Biomutant, it doesn't look that good, especially if you're someone like me who's playing on a 4K monitor, a couple inches away from their face. You really can start to tell that, all right, this looks like kind of dog shit. But yeah, it just kind of circles around to the point that like they really went for an ambitious game and they tried and they failed to a certain degree. But there was a lot of stuff there, and it really could have been something cool if they just did something more smaller, maybe just like a shorter game, non-open world, just like a straightforward path.
More
And
diversity in their gameplay
yeah, like
and
they could have
environment.
actually gotten like a really cool story too, had the diversity with the gameplay. Or even like, dude, they have like so many different weapons in this game, but none of them actually feel ironed out. Like they have
The
like I think like six
feels
different
like
melees and like a ton of
the
different mods. They could have just focused on like one or two, and then like one or two guns, and made them really good, and it would have made the game just so much better.
revolvers feels that's what I chose. It feels super unresponsive, at least personally. And like you said,
Yeah,
with any melee weapon, it's just there's no feedback. It feels so dead. Almost there's no weight to it. I was also disappointed by even at the tutorial level, you come across I would say at least 5 mini bosses in a row in between areas,
yeah,
and they're reskins of each other.
yep.
They're pretty much
That's
all the fucking same, and that's in the first hour. That's your first impression. That's
yeah,
what you're gonna leave players with right off the bat. Why are they even gonna want to continue? In fact, I didn't. I hopped off Biomutant and I started playing Mass Effect or Battlefront. I forget which, but it wasn't Biomutant. That much I
yeah.
know for damn sure.
Like, dude,
I'm gonna go back to it, but
the concept's cool. Like, just thinking about like playing as a fucking raccoon ninja, doing karate and shit. It's so cool.
post-apocalypse,
Yeah,
which we don't have in games really.
and then it's like all these cool ideas on paper, it just didn't pan out. And I just keep just thinking back and just thinking about the fact of like THQ acquired them. I think it was 2017, early in 2017. So this game was maybe 2 years into development, and now it's 2021. So I don't know how many years later. If they put more help onto this game, Embracer Group is a huge company. They're acquiring like 50 studios a year at this point. So I was just thinking about if they got like another studio to come support them on the side. Just to help out, or if they, just hired more staff, maybe went from 30 people to 50 people. I would have liked to see what the difference could have been there, especially with a few cutbacks on some things. I think the game could have been really cool. But that is all for me without diving into the story, because I don't want to really spoil anything. Not that there's much to spoil. The story is very non-existent. But
Yeah, what kind of threw me off guard, one thing I do want to mention is the morality system. I
yeah,
mean, I only found out about it like a day or two before it launched. I didn't even know it was in the game. They didn't really advertise it. And just, I don't know, right at the beginning, it just feels kind of artificial because they just
oh,
force
dude,
a choice on you, like dark path or light path. It's like, well, this is a weird way to go about
it
this
gets
type of
worse.
system. Like we've had honor and RDR, and that's like a gradual scale that can either go up or down. Then in Mass Effect, you had the Paragon or the Renegade meters, but in this, it's just like you decide right now, light or dark. It
No,
was really,
I mean, you still
it
do
caught me
stuff
off
that can
guard.
affect it, but you get maxed out on whichever path you're
No, I
going
know.
so quickly. Like, I was like, maybe 2 hours in, I was already at max. So it was like I'd have to do so much bad stuff to even have a chance of it affecting anything.
know you can do stuff to affect it and to change it. Just my point was, it's so weird that they were so blunt about it
Yeah,
right in
just
the
having a
beginning.
little
It's
ghost pop
literally
up like, hey, you want to be good or
dark or
bad?
light. It's like, okay, to really make that hit with the player, you want the morality meter to only move based off of their actions in game, like Mass Effect does, like RDR does, based off of their choices.
Yeah,
It shouldn't just be, oh, pick option 1 or 2. That's so stupid.
yeah, I agree. But that is all I have to say. So if you have anything else or want to move on.
No, like I said, I've only played about an hour, hour and a half,
Yeah.
so you said more than I possibly ever could.
Yeah. All right, then let's move on into something that just happened a few minutes ago. Dying Light 2 has gotten a release date confirmed, and we saw a bunch of gameplay. Now the release date is December 7th of 2021, which is a lot sooner than I think most people expected. I think a lot of people were saying, "Oh, this game's definitely 2022, not even a chance of 2021. It's in development hell." And they kind of came out and they showed some gameplay. Now the gameplay looked a little rough, frame rate wise, but the concepts are still all there from what we saw in 2018. It looks cool, very ambitious looking. Um, I don't know if they're going to succeed. I want them to succeed. I hope there's not another delay. I feel like there will be though. Um, they did also put the pre-order info out. Collector's editions are not live yet, but they did like kind of confirm what it's coming and like the deluxe edition and the ultimate edition. So if you get the deluxe edition, you're going to be getting access to the first DLC, and then you have to get the ultimate edition if you want to be able to get the second DLC as well. Or I'm sure you'll just be able to buy a season pass for probably $30-$40 after the fact. But yeah, I mean the gameplay we saw really was nothing like crazy new. It was all stuff that we pretty much saw because we saw a lot of gameplay for Dying Light 2 back in 2018 and 2019. Like they gave us like 15-minute long demos both years and then more gameplay later. And then they just went silent. So it was like I
Well,
knew.
that's not entirely true. We saw a lot more today, much more enemy variety. I mean, completely new zombie types that are going to be out during night. I mean,
Yeah.
new nighttime activities as well. What else did we get? View of the new parachuting mechanic. It seems like that's going to be able to take you around the map.
I forget if they showed
Uh,
off the parachuting thing last time. I think they showed that in
I don't
2019. I'm not
I don't
100% sure,
remember
though.
seeing that. I don't
I
remember
remember,
seeing
like,
that.
in that one demo, he was jumping around the roof and he got down somehow. I just forget how he got down. It might have been a rope. It might have been a parachute. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
still,
But
I mean, the
it
thing at
looks
night
good.
going out and like showing that you're going into their den is cool. I think that was in Dying Light 1. You went into the den at some point, or maybe it was in the following. But I mean,
You
dude,
can
I'm
see
so
a
excited for this
volatile
game.
you can see a volatile nest through a door, but you can't go in, from what I remember in the first Dying Light. It does look like they're expanding the nighttime gameplay a lot. Looks like there's going to be much more reason to go out besides hunting for bolter tissue, which is pretty much one of the only main reasons to go out during night in Dying Light 1 besides just the added tension.
Yeah.
But that also unfortunately is opening the door to more amounts of and new types of monetization.
Yes.
If you look at the collector's edition page and what comes with it on their website, the official website, which is Dying Light or preorder.dyinglightgame.com, you pick your platform, retail, collectors, and you go to the left and it sees everything it comes with. Standard stuff, art book, soundtrack, weapon charms, crafting items, expansions, wallpapers, comics, whatever. And then you see a 2-hour night XP boost. So clearly there's going to be different XP meters for both night and day, and maybe even different types of combat as well. Maybe they have a separate bar for melee and, guns. I have no idea about that. It's just speculation. But the fact that they're including 1 2-hour boost with this obviously means you'll be able to get more boosts and probably
Yeah.
for various XP types. And there probably will be co-op like the first game and maybe even PvP to some extent. I don't want this game to become pay to win. And even if it's not, even if it doesn't intrude on the multiplayer aspects, I don't want it to become just overly monetized like we see in games such as AC Valhalla, where half of that game's armor sets are only acquired through in-game purchase,
Yeah.
with real money. To me, it's disgusting. Growing up without any of this stuff, just seeing it shoved down everyone's throats in every new release, it's atrocious to me. I'm sorry, I have to check this Twitter notification because if Wario tweeted out, oh no, Far Cry 6 gameplay leaked, I think.
What? Seriously?
Apparently.
I mean, I
Yeah.
know the thing's supposed to be coming out tomorrow. Let me see. No, what the fuck, bro? All right. Well, we might have
Yep.
a.
This is Far Cry 6 gameplay. Holy
All
shit!
right.
Live on the game preview, folks.
So you want to transition out of our Dying Light 2? I had nothing else to say. I don't know if you had anything else about Dying Light 2.
Looks brilliant. If it does come out, can't wait to play it. But I do agree with Frank. I think it's probably going to be delayed into Q1 2021. I don't know if you said that on the podcast we were talking about beforehand. And it looks a bit choppy, performance wise. So I think they're going to want to avoid a cyberpunk type disaster, especially with how many people are looking forward to this and have been looking forward to it. It might be safe just to push it back a month or two. But I don't know. If it comes out December 7th, you bet your ass I'll be playing it on December 7th. No questions asked. So.
That's fair. So now we're gonna move into Far Cry 6, I guess. Since we have some live. Now the
Do you
reveal is
have to
supposed to be
create
tomorrow morning at I think 12 or maybe 11. I don't remember exactly, but it was supposed to be tomorrow morning. And I guess we got some leaks now. Just gonna skim through it and see if we got anything really cool.
Well, we're getting a lot of gunplay. They're showing off like a minigun death machine, mini
Yeah,
grenade
I'm seeing a
launcher.
bow in the woods. Oh,
Looks
dude,
like
this
you're
looks
gonna be
so
able to.
good.
Looks like you're gonna be able to build some type of resistance across the map. Kind of like a faction mechanic. It's seeming like.
Yeah, we
It,
can't
it's also
include
gonna be
this.
Dead Island. No, I'm not showing any
Yeah, no,
footage.
no gameplay, or we will be getting taken down.
It
But
looks great. It looks great. I mean, the gunplay looks so responsive.
dude, he
It
looks like
looks so
Vaz so
meaty.
much. So you got the
Oh, you
option to
can
play as a guy or a girl. I don't know if that
lean
was ever
around corners.
confirmed.
Yeah, I hope it's a set guy or girl and not a create a character because I want a voice protagonist again, like Jason Brody, like AJ Gale or
Yeah, I
Ajay
agree.
Ghale.
That hurt Far Cry 5 a lot.
That's why I don't like it, to be honest. I really
Yeah,
don't like
I
Far
mean,
Cry 5 at all. Oh, the horse riding. This one, oh, dude, this looks so
there's
sick.
the map.
Oh, all the old school Soviet weaponry, like the customized RPDs and Makarovs and shit. The drum mag for fucking Makarov. Oh my god. Saw blade launcher, please. Oh, it doesn't cut limbs off. That's disappointing. But I think they had that in 5, and it worked essentially the same way. Wait, can you play in third person now, or is this just the way
Yeah,
the
I'm looking.
camera's?
I think that's just from the camera.
The fuck is this? A jetpack now? A flame jetpack? You
Yeah,
can just
dude,
take
fucking
off.
take it out of the tank. What the fuck?
This is like Dead Rising or Dead Island mixed with Far Cry, and now you can shoot missiles. Oh Jesus Christ! Hold on. we we might be in a problem state here.
Dude, it looks really good though graphically. I'm
But is this where they jumped the shark though? Like that's my thing. It's some of this is looking concerning, a bit too over the top for Far Cry.
I mean, Far Cry's always been over the top, bro.
Only really in drug sequences. Besides that,
Yeah,
3 was pretty tame. 2 was very tame. 4 was just an expansion of 3 essentially, but it still felt
there's a
grounded.
pet alligator. Yeah, I mean, I'm mostly skipping through it. I'm not watching the whole thing.
Just call this place Cuba because that's exactly what it
Yeah.
is. Where they're trying
Alright.
to go for.
I
It's
didn't
just
watch it
waiting.
all. I mean, I skipped through a decent amount of it, but
The map looks beautiful.
I mean,
You're gonna want to be playing this on next gen for sure. All of the execution animations look so awesome. I see what you mean about the pet baby crocodile now.
yeah.
Is this still running on Dunia engine? It looks like it, but
I
I'm not
do not
entirely
know.
sure.
I don't know if they ever confirmed anything. Probably not. I just can't believe that whole thing just leaked.
So I wonder if you'll be able to tame animals
I
like you would
don't
in
think so.
Primal.
I think it'll be
I'm
similar to
looking at
how it
this guy
was.
petting his crocodile right
Yeah,
now. I'm literally
I'm just thinking it's gonna be similar to Far Cry 5, where it's like, oh, go around the map and there's some animals. Like, oh, here's a marker and that's where your horse is, and here's where your dog is, and here's a crocodile, and then boom, there you go.
definitely armor customization. That's for sure. Definitely can't find out if they're set protagonists or not because this is all in German. Um, and although I am part German, I don't know how to speak a lick of it.
So,
Well, a little bit.
I mean, based off what I saw there, it looks really good.
I think you can
There
have
is no
pets
release date confirmed, right?
because they have a tiny dog with half of it replaced with like a carriage, and it looks like it can fire artillery out of it. What the fuck? Yeah.
Collector's edition is live.
Yo, where?
I don't know if it says pre-order. The Dying Light Twitter just posted it 4 minutes ago. We were too distracted. We were too distracted by Far Cry 6 that we didn't realize.
I think
I mean,
Wario would have said something,
well,
right?
Dying Light Twitter
Wario,
just posted it, so
like the collector's edition?
they said pre-order the collector's edition now
From where?
on their website. No, it still says not available. All right, so they're just.
What are they fucking with us now for
I
their
mean,
entertainment, for their amusement? What the fuck is this? I want to give them my money.
all right.
Why are they being such bitches about it?
So I mean, to summarize off that gameplay, I hope we get a release date tomorrow. I'm not sure if we're gonna.
Good.
I think it would make sense because
I'm saying September this
yeah,
year.
I agree. I mean, this game was. You gotta remember, this game was supposed to be. Was it supposed to be fall 2020 originally? I know it was definitely had a release date, early 2020, and then it got pushed to May, and then that.
February or March 2020.
Yeah, I think the original date was like February or March, and then it internally got delayed to May 26th, I believe it was, and then that date got delayed as well, and then it was kind of radio silent. So we were thinking, all right, either early fall or maybe sometime in the summer, but I'm thinking like probably September makes sense. But it also depends on what else Ubisoft has. I mean, Ubisoft likes to get their fall releases out. I think it would make sense to have this as a fall release, but then again, if they have a bunch of other stuff, maybe they get it out in the summer and they have something else in the fall. But we will know when we get there. But pretty cool. But yeah, you can tune into the actual reveal tomorrow morning if you want to check it out.
Yeah, I'm just really hoping we have an actual main protagonist again, not some hollow shell.
I agree. It hurt Far Cry 5 so much.
Yeah,
It's like,
and I want the
like
health
when they
bars
talk to
gone.
you,
I want the RPG mechanics.
dude,
Just
like
get all
they
the
talk to you
shit
and they be
out.
like, "Oh, not the talking kind of guy. You quiet." Like, fuck you. I want to actually talk. Come on, like, it just hurts the game so much. Just give my guy a voice and let's go. I mean, sure, it's more work for them to have to record a guy voice and a girl voice. Just go do it, dude. Come
They're
on.
getting paid for this shit.
I know,
It's
you're-
not like they're acting out of the kindness of their hearts. Let's not forget.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
mean, dude,
business.
Ubisoft can fucking do this, bro. They have all the money. They're making a shit ton off their microtransactions. They can go do this.
Yeah.
All right, let's move up into Final Fantasy Origin. Now, Final Fantasy Origin is supposedly
All
being
leaked.
made by
All
Team Ninja. Now, it's been kind of, I don't want to say confirmed, but people who are very, very credible in the leaking community, especially in the Square Enix thing, have said this is legit. And then I've seen other people who aren't really necessarily Square Enix people, but more just like all over people. And they're like saying, oh, there's really Square Enix kind of leaking a lot of stuff. Supposedly, Square Enix's whole E3 show has gotten leaked pretty much. And now it's not all out to the public yet. We just heard about like the Guardians game recently, and then we just heard about this. I mean, it seems cool. I mean, Team Ninja did a great job with Neo. I know a lot of people like those games. I haven't personally played either ones. I've been trying to get the Souls games done first, and then I'll try those out eventually. But yeah, I mean, it definitely looks intriguing. I mean, I think they could do a great job, but this is going to be another PlayStation exclusive, and it's like PlayStation just continues to lock down Final Fantasy.
Well, I love Souls, obviously.
Yeah.
And therefore that means I love Neo. I mean, it's not necessarily, transferable.
Yeah, but
for
there's
me,
a clear
it is.
inspiration there, and there's a lot of similar mechanics.
It's going to depend on the player, but for me, the love is transferable from Souls to Neo. And even though I don't really like Neo 1 that much, really at all, I mean, I have way more criticisms than positives for Neo 1. I fucking love Neo 2 with my entire heart and soul. I mean, they really took everything that I didn't like about Neo 1 and got rid of it and just made everything better. I think Neo 2 is a phenomenal, phenomenal game, and if anyone out there watching like Soulsborne or Souls Likes and you haven't played Neo 2, I highly recommend it. And if you have a PS5, get the Neo Collection Remaster, and you can play it at 120 FPS, which I can't even do yet, but I want to so fucking badly.
Yep. And both games are on PC, right?
I know the first one is. I think the second one.
Yeah, it came a few months ago. I remember that. I remember Cowboy was streaming it.
Yeah, but regardless, having the people behind that do essentially this again, just in the Final Fantasy world. I mean, where the fuck do I sign up? I mean, it's that simple. I mean, Final Fantasy 15 was great. that's where I personally jumped into the franchise. I mean, I obviously knew about Final Fantasy beforehand, but I only played 15 at launch, and that was the first Final Fantasy game I ever played. Loved it. Ending made me tear up a little bit and shed one for our homie. Not just
Don't say it. I've never played
what?
it, and I might play
Okay,
it eventually. I don't know. It depends
okay.
on if I like Final Fantasy VII Remake. If I
Oh
like
my
that, I'll
god,
start playing the Final Fantasy games. But
this guy. All right.
I'm,
Well,
I'm waiting for Integrate, dude.
all right, fair enough, fair enough. Anyway, and then I did play the 7 remake. I didn't finish that yet, but I am about a third through it, and I do want to go back and finish it, hopefully before Intergrade comes out, and then I'll replay it with the upgrades. But from even though I'm not a Final Fantasy enthusiast or aficionado by any stretch of the imagination, I definitely like what I've played and I am in love with the world. I think the lore is great. I think there's so much of it that they can really do whatever they want with this game. And the subtitle of Origin suggests that we're going to be going back to the genesis of the timeline,
That's
um,
dope.
which is, also dope. Absolutely. So I see this as an absolute win. I
Yeah,
mean, not to quote the meme, but really, I don't see any flaws with this. I mean, if Sony's helping finance the game, I mean, yeah, they deserve it as an exclusive,
yeah,
and
that's fair.
it'll be great.
Yeah, like I said, I have no problem with exclusives if they're financing the game and helping it come to fruition, which that seems like it's the case here. Final Fantasy has a close spot in my heart. They got me these headphones for free. I remember I won it in a giveaway. They had like some energy company. I think it was Mountain Dew, and I made a couple accounts. You're only supposed to have one, and I made a few. And each day
Uh,
you'd have to enter it. Like every 24 hours, you can enter and have like another entry. And I think I had like 4 or 5 accounts. And they're technically speaking, they were under different people in my family. So
oh my!
technically, it was in the rule space. Now, did my family members know about it? No. But technically speaking, so I got Final Fantasy VII Remake for free. I won that. But I wanted to wait for the 60 FPS patch. I was like, oh, it's definitely coming to PS5 launch. So I was like, I
Content
could
with
wait.
the
I could
free
wait
game.
3 months. I
He
could wait.
wasn't content with the free game he scammed, ladies and gentlemen. He
Not
wasn't content
scamming.
with it.
But no, I was like, all right, it's definitely going to come at launch. And then it never happened. I was like, all right, what's a few more months? It's got to come eventually. And then Integrate gets announced. And I'm like, all right, well, let's wait for that. And I am going to pay $20 for the upgrade to get the DLC expansion. But still, I got these headphones for free from that. I got this little doll of Sephiroth, I think is how you say his name. I don't know.
Sephiroth
Yeah, that guy.
or Sephiroth.
I,
Now
so,
you're
I,
making me say it wrong. You're
I
you're
sold that for $70 on eBay, and then I got this some silver tin thing of some other bad guy with like a giant sword. And I don't remember what happened with that. I may have sold it. It might still be somewhere in my house, in my garage, maybe. I don't know. But yeah,
your fake posturing is contagious, making me say Sephiroth wrong. How
dude.
dare
And it was like they didn't actually confirm. Like they would have confirmed ID if I won one of like the higher tier prizes. So then I would just love like the conversation. I'd be like, go to my dad. Yeah, I need your ID. Oh, well, actually, me and my dad have the same name. But my mom, yeah, mom, I need your ID. Why? I entered a giveaway under your name, and we have a TV coming. Could you just imagine? All right. We are way
you?
off topic. Let's move into our next topic, unless you have anything else to add.
No,
All
can't
right,
wait.
cool.
I just want the official announcement. That's all.
Yeah, I think E3 is a very, very short case of that.
Hopefully.
Alrighty. Xbox and Bethesda, their E3 showcase is now confirmed for June 13th at 1 p.m. EST. It's going to be a 90-minute showcase packed with everything you want to know about the epic gaming lineup coming out of the my Xbox and Bethesda partnership, the incredible games coming to Xbox this holiday, upcoming releases coming onto Game Pass, and more. So, I mean, based off the picture that they uploaded it with, we see Halo and we see Starfield. So those are two sure things. We also, it looks like we see something hinting towards like the legacy of Xbox. I'm looking at the picture. I don't know if you have it anywhere. But there's like this green thing that kind of looks like the 360 logo in like the top left corner, and there's some numbers showing years. So I'm assuming they'll probably have some announcements about backwards compatibility.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe a new backwards compatibility initiative where they're really going to try and make it. Imagine they just straight up say, it's going to take a lot of years, maybe even a decade, but we're going to strive from this point onward to make every single Xbox title backwards compatible on
Yeah,
the new
dude, like, that'd be kind of like a slam dunk on Sony. Just like,
That
fuck you,
a
Sony.
slam dunk. That would be a fucking fatality. That would be a finishing
Dude,
move. Jesus.
it's... And I mean, I know some insiders have been like talking about this thing. All right, don't get too excited about the show. I mean, 90 minutes, that's a long show. The one that they had last July was a little over 60 minutes. So I mean, you're getting a whole extra half an hour here, but then again, you're also getting Bethesda's conference. So I mean, I don't know how that's actually gonna play out. One insider who's pretty credible was saying that we're gonna be seeing Avowed gameplay, which I'm super excited for if true. I was
Yeah,
shocked to hear
that
that because Avowed seems a little bit farther away. So that'd be cool. I mean, Starfield gameplay. I don't know if we'll get a full scale demo like Todd Howard coming out, that kind of thing. It might just be a trailer because if it's coming out in 2022 fall, I think you'd save the Todd Howard moment for next year. But then again, maybe you just want to show it here because you did just spend how many billions of dollars on them, and Todd Howard is someone very notable in the industry, so getting him on stage is good
as
publicity.
excited as I am for Starfield, I just got way more excited for that Avowed reveal. If
Dude,
it's
I,
there,
I
I
gotta play
mean,
the Pillars games. I haven't played them, and they're set in the world. Avowed's gonna be set in the world of Pillars, so I have to
yeah,
play through those two games before Avowed comes out.
played about 8 hours maybe of Deadfire, the second Pillars of
Yeah,
Eternity game. Really, really liked it. Kind of became disenfranchised with it after playing it for too long because those aren't really my types of RPG.
and that's fair.
I'm not the biggest fan of the isometric view unless it's like Diablo or something like that.
I
That's more
feel the same
top
way.
down. Anyway, you know, it's great lore, regardless from what I remember, and to see, first person Elder Scrolls esque RPG in that world could really be, an Elder Scrolls. I don't want to say killer because anybody says like, oh, this game is the X game killer. Like, no, it's not. It's usually going to be its own thing.
Yeah,
But do I think it could be a serious competitor to Elder Scrolls in the future? Absolutely, because I do believe Obsidian is a more talented development studio. I mean, I
yeah.
think
I
they've
mean,
had.
competition is never a bad thing. I mean, I know obviously they're on the same team now technically, but if you can have two great fantasy games, or even three, count Fable, if you can have three really good fantasy open world RPGs going for Microsoft, and you can get them on a good release pattern, because I mean those games are huge, and Elder Scrolls 6 is probably a ways off. So if you could have Avowed come in here and kind of scratch that itch a little bit, that'd be amazing. I mean, and it
I'm
pushes
with you.
Bethesda
Elder.
too, because then they have to look at Avowed.
Yeah,
They say, all right, well, we can't
they
have
have to
Elder
do
Scrolls
better.
6 look worse than that, so we got to just get
Which is
ready.
good because I do believe they have become content ever since, Skyrim and Fallout 4 came out, and
Yeah.
then they just really don't make that many games anymore. Because even in Skyrim, I was replaying it recently because I never fully beat it, and then I just kind of went balls to the wall and damn near 100%ed it.
Yeah.
But and that was in the special edition, and I had a great time. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of fun to be had in Skyrim, but just you go into an underground area like a dungeon or a keep or
It
whatever, and
looks.
it's just the same as the last. It's
Yeah.
just you get so bored. I remember the last time I played a game, or I played Skyrim, I walked into a dungeon with one of the people from I forget what they're called. They're like the nomadic people on Solstheim. You can craft Stalrim with them. I forget what they're called, but I went to an underground uh not temple, but like some type of elaborate structure built by a precursor race. I don't know if it was Dwemer or what. Regardless, I'm like, this looks exactly the same as the last 5,000 I was in. And I just quit the game. I haven't been back to Skyrim since. I just saw the same stained, moss covered stone walls, and I was just like, I'm done. Goodbye. I've had enough of like fighting Draugr and Falmer in the fucking dark for tens of hours. It's monotonous, it's tedious, it's irritating. After a while you walk in and you're just like, oh fuck, this shit again? I didn't mean to slam my desk that hard.
It's fine.
But regardless, I was concerned about Elder Scrolls 6. I wondered, with them being so content in recent years from their success, are they just going to amplify that in their new game? And hopefully, Avowed and Obsidian will put, their feet to the fire and, with their releases, say metaphorically, hey, you got to do better,
Yeah.
without even having to directly tell them face to face.
I'm.
So I hope that is what occurs.
I mean, there's a chance that like we see Starfield and Avowed maybe come out in the same year. Which who knows if that happens, but we're very close. And there's definitely going to be some comparisons there, just because of the history those two studios have had. And I mean, obviously, Starfield and Avowed are going to be two very different games. But if Starfield comes out and it's not that good, and everyone's just raging about Avowed, I'm very curious what the hype levels turn into for Elder Scrolls 6. I mean, obviously, people are still going to be very excited for that. But if Avowed is really good, you might see more people being like, let's just get a sequel for Avowed. And, I don't know. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. It's all major.
There will always be an audience for Elder Scrolls.
Definitely.
Let's not kid ourselves here. But Avowed could be a serious competitor and could take people away from that franchise.
Yeah.
At least for a while. Maybe not permanently, but...
Yeah. But, I mean, here's like the other thing. If Starfield doesn't do that great, and Avowed does amazing, and then you're Bethesda Game Studios, and you're like, all right, we have a lot of money on the table here going on Elder Scrolls 6. We have to nail this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I at least think, and I might be wrong, but I expect Microsoft to give the Fallout license to someone else. Not, forever, but they want a Fallout game probably in the next 10 years. Like, I don't think they want to wait for Elder Scrolls 6 to come out in 2028 and then have no Fallout until 2030 something. Like, they want to fall
76.
So, yeah. So, I mean, if you do that and then, Starfield bombs and Avowed is really good, and then you're here looking at Elder Scrolls 6, you have to knock this shit out of the park, or you're screwed. Because that would be like a worst case scenario, and I don't think it's gonna happen. BGS is one of my favorite, if not my favorite developer, and I know Fallout 76 was not loved by most people. But then again, Maryland didn't really work on it, and BGS Maryland is the team I like, so we will see. But I feel like we're ranting at this point, so let's move on to the next topic. My throat is getting very dry, and I forgot water.
That is
like the second you took that water bottle out, it just reminded me that I don't have water, and it made my throat. All right. Up next, we have a minor announcement here. Not minor, pretty big, but not much we can actually discuss. Horizon Forbidden West has a state of play going on tonight at 6 p.m., which will probably be around the time this gets uploaded, a few minutes before, which will be showing off 14 minutes of in-game footage and other content as well. Now, the event, this is really exciting, to actually see Horizon gameplay. But it also kind of seems like they're making this say, like, oh, we have a 20-minute event tonight, and based off how they're wording this, they're making it seem like 14 minutes is, Horizon, and they're not saying what those other 6 minutes are. I mean, the Ratchet & Clank showcase, they made a point saying, like, oh, we have 2 other indie games we're going to show you. They don't make it a point here, so are they just going to, like, say, fuck it, and this is our showcase, and, like, here's God of War, and then we're going to go silent until, like, August? Because there's not a presence for them at E3. We expect them to do something maybe with the Summer Game Fest, but...
Wait, so is this a Horizon, or I shouldn't say a Horizon exclusive event, is this a Guerrilla Games exclusive event, or is it just for Sony?
It's just saying it's focused on Horizon Forbidden West.
Okay, so then the extra 6 minutes will probably just be developer commentary or something. I don't see another game.
Well, no, based off this right here, that is possible. That would make more sense. I don't think it would be strange for them to just like kind of shove God of War or some other big game coming out this year in those last 6 minutes.
If they were to like announce another game, I feel like it would be a new Killzone. If there was going to be anything there,
yeah.
But I really just feel like it'll just be developer commentary
or
publisher commentary.
A more sane person would think that. That's probably what most normal people are thinking. I'm over here speculating like, oh, there's 30 seconds they could put a trailer in for Silent Hill. Yeah.
Personally, I would like to see a Killzone reveal because Shadowfall was not that good.
I never played it. I've never played a Killzone before.
One, definitely dated. I don't know if I'd necessarily go recommend playing that, but 2 and 3 are still really solid quality games. Shadowfall could have been a lot better. Definitely fumbled the bag a bit at launch. Definitely made some gambles and they didn't pay off, but I think it's time for a return. Personally, I'm gonna catch shit for this, probably even from you. I don't like Horizon Zero Dawn. I thought it was painfully average. I really didn't think there's that much unique about it. Dude,
I liked it so much. What do you mean, dude? Robot dinosaurs. Who else has it?
Wow. Robot dinosaurs. We have regular dinosaurs. They're way cooler.
But there's not even any good dinosaur games. That's the thing, dude. There's no...
Turok.
Bro,
it's still good after all these years.
When there hasn't... besides Ark, bro. And Ark, they don't even say Ark, bro. Or second extension. It's like a double A.
It's
I
not that
just
good.
want like a full scale triple A dinosaur game. Come on, Dino Crisis remake. Where's it at?
Well, yeah, that was one of the projects Capcom shit canned. There
Yeah,
there
fuck
was going to
them,
be a
bro.
Dino
Like
Crisis
it's
remake.
such a market. Dinosaurs are awesome, and
They
it's
are.
like make a triple A Jurassic Park like horror game. Like holy fuck, dude, that just be like nuts.
Well, Dino Crisis.
Well,
That that is what it was
I
back in the
know, but
day.
I mean, it license it
Gotta
as
bring it
Jurassic
back.
Park. Like I don't know, dude. A fucking
No, for people, look, I'm
Uber
not
team.
trying to take away from people who like the game because, I get why. I mean, it's the same appeal as every other open world game, I suppose. But for me, I don't know. I was very bored. I thought the main protagonist was very flat and not necessarily unlikable, but not really likable either. Just like, okay, dude, I don't know. I don't know who you are. I don't really give a shit about your plans or your troubles or your obstacles that you have to, surpass. I just never found it compelling. Again, that's just me.
Yes, we will
That,
have to agree to disagree on this one.
that so look, I'm gonna watch a Forbidden West gameplay. If I like what I see, I might give it another shot.
Yeah, I
But I
for
need to see
me,
a real evolution of gameplay.
yeah.
That's what I
I
see.
mean, for me, this was my Horizon Zero Dawn was the first game I got for my PS4 Pro. So I just remember grinding that because I had nothing else on there. So I just got the PS4 Pro and I was just grinding it. I had so much fun. I remember the graphics looking so good. At the time, it was the best game I've ever seen graphically. Which was I think it was 2017, right? When it came out? Yeah, I think it was January 2017. So it
Asking the
looked
wrong
like the
person.
facial animations and cutscenes and dialogue just looked so good. And yeah, I mean, it was just another open world game, sure. But I thought the dinosaur element was really cool. The robots
What
and just
about
exploring the
dinosaurs?
world and finding out what happened to, the humans and everything and what triggered all this and finding out our different powers and all that with the little thinger that goes on our wrist. And I remember it's been a while, but I enjoyed it and I'm excited to see it tonight. But on that note, let's move on into the next topic. We got some Pokemon release dates. Not much of discussion here. Just thought I would share them in case anyone's interested. So we got Pokemon Legends Arceus, I think,
I
which
think
will
it's
be
Arceus.
Arceus will be launching on January 28th of 2022, and then we have Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl launching on November 19th of 2021. So
The
it,
Arceus release date concerns me heavily because of what we've seen of it. It just looks so not ready,
I
very, very pre-alpha. Very, I mean, like we were saying Dying Light 2 looked rough, but Arceus looked at least
yeah,
3
I
times
mean,
rough
here's the
as that.
thing, is and I guess we're gonna kind of combine discussions here. We'll talk about the Switch Pro maybe because yeah, let me combine topics here. Timestamps. Okay. So with the news that we have a Switch Pro, maybe coming out very soon. I mean, there's reports from Bloomberg and Eurogamer saying that a reveal is right around the corner. We've known about the Switch Pro for a while now. We've talked about it on the show in the past, but we've heard about this, and now it's kind of been confirmed by Bloomberg. They've come out and said that, oh, we're keeping the $299 price, which is exciting. They're just going to retire the old version. We're going to get this version at $299, and it's going to come out probably this fall. So before Pokemon comes out, now we'll be able to actually get a copy of this because it'll probably be a limited amount with the chip shortage. Who knows? But I mean, with the DLSS technology on this, iron it out, and you got good upscaling through DLSS, and you can really make it work if they do it right. But will they do it right on the hardware side of things? Who the hell knows? But I mean, there is a push for this Switch thing. It didn't make sense to me initially, like why they're trying to push this, but supposedly the reason is that third-party devs want to show off their pro games at E3. So I mean, I guess it makes sense to not because I think Nintendo has always pretty much classically have been like towards the end of the show. So I guess there's like someone maybe like a Square Enix wants to show some games that they're showcased if it happens before, rather than only having it at the Nintendo show, which I guess makes sense. Um, I mean, I'm intrigued by it. I mean, Pokemon has never really been my cup of tea, but the open world one definitely looks intriguing. But you're right. I mean, the gameplay definitely looked concerning when we saw it. It looked rough around the edges, graphically and performance wise as well. I mean, people love to just put Breath of the Wild on this high pedestal, and we can definitely tell this was inspired from Breath of the Wild art style and all of that. But I don't know. It's like,
I'm excited for it. I mean, like personally, I have not played it. I got Pokemon Moon for 3DS and I never touched it. I haven't played Pokemon since Game Boy Advanced, I think.
yeah, the same.
It
Pokemon
was
Red
one
was
of
the
the
last one
Game
I played.
Boys. I remember playing it on my cousin's. What was the Game Boy that didn't have? Was it just the first Game Boy that didn't have any color? That was pretty much just like black lines on a gray screen.
I think
I'm
so.
trying to remember what that was, but that was the last time I remember playing Pokemon. So maybe it wasn't even Game Boy Advance. I have two Game Boys in a shelf though, both Pikachu ones. I forget it's for the color of the Advance, but regardless, the last time I played Pokemon, it was on some variant of Game Boy. Which, please, Nintendo, make a Game Boy Classic or something. Game Boy's very dear to my heart. Please bring it back in some manner. Completely unrelated. I just really fucking love the Game Boy. Um, but to have Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl come out, that's awesome. Having those games remastered on Switch for all the people that didn't get to experience them. I didn't get to experience them, so I'm very glad that I'm gonna be able to play it now. Um, yeah, I have Diamond pre-ordered. I have Arceus pre-ordered. I am planning to get back into it. It's been far too long. In fact, I played the trading card game more recently than an actual Pokemon game. That was back in elementary school.
Yeah,
So it has been a very, very long time. But even though Arceus did look a bit jagged around the edges, I still liked what I see, or what I saw, rather. Jesus. There's a lot of potential there. And I think that's what a lot of people are neglecting, just because everybody likes to hop on the negative bandwagon nowadays, just highlight all the faults and flaws that there are in a title. And again, you do have to do that. You do have to catch devs and publishers on their shit because they'll try and hide things and push them under the rug, and then you'll find out when it's released and it's just like, oh well, this is a fucking mess. Again, we already mentioned it once this podcast, but Cyberpunk,
yep,
blatant example of that. So I think, even though Arceus does need a lot of work, I think it has the potential, and this is a very ignorant opinion, but I think it has the potential to be the best Pokemon game in years. Again, I haven't played recent Pokemon games, but if this is making me come back to the franchise, this and the remasters of Diamond and Pearl, so there's definitely something to that. Um, and even though I'm not a Pokemon aficionado, I do have friends that are into the series, and I did hear that Sword and Shield were seriously lacking in a lot of areas, especially the Pokedex. I heard a lot of Pokemon were taken out and excluded, even though there was no real reason to. And then they lied about the reason, which started the hashtag Game Freak lied, and then
yep.
there was a whole thing about that, and it was just a mess. So I hope they can avoid it this time. I've hoped they learn their lessons, and I hope. Even though they are clearly ambitious, I hope they still have their ambitions tamed to a certain extent so we don't hit a disaster point. But I think the remasters are there for a guaranteed win, and then Arceus I feel like is going to be more experimental. I don't think they're willing to take a loss on it, Nintendo, but I think they are willing to push Pokemon forward as a whole and experiment with the gameplay more so than they have in the past because they know they'll have the revenue from those remasters and they'll have, guaranteed profit to some extent, no matter what. Um, but it's a very exciting time for the franchise. I think a lot of life has been put back into it. It's reinvigorated, and let's see how it goes.
I agree. All right, let's move on into our next topic. Pretty short one here, but PlayStation Plus's PlayStation Plus's PlayStation Plus's June lineup has been confirmed. We got Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, Star Wars Squadrons, and Operation Tango. Um,
Great selection. I mean, I'm not a huge Virtua Fighter guy, but I know a lot of people stan and love Virtua Fighter, and I'm that way with Mortal Kombat and Injustice, so I understand the fighting game addiction well. I'm definitely gonna try it. I'm always down to try a new fighting game. Star Wars Squadrons. Don't get that game for the story. You'll want to blow your fucking brains out. It's probably the
yeah,
worst Star Wars story written in recent memory, and
yeah, I did like two
that is
missions and
saying
I took a
something.
break.
It's cringy, it's terrible, not a single character is likable. It's quite repulsive. Um, but the gameplay's fucking phenomenal. I mean, it's some of the
Yeah,
best Star Wars flight we've ever seen, if not the best Star Wars flight, and especially that in PSVR is going to be great, which I still need to try. I got it physically like months ago, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to play Squadrons in VR. I haven't yet. I still need to, but if you have a PSVR and you don't have Squadrons and you have PS Plus, I mean, this is an absolute win for you. You can play the
definitely.
entirety of the game in VR, from campaign to multiplayer to AI battles, whatever you want. The
Yep.
entirety of the game can be played in VR. And then again, if you don't have VR, it's just a really fun game. Difficult though. There's a learning curve for sure. Um, just because of how much maneuverability and control they give you in the X-wing. And then what was the other one? The third?
Operation Tango. I'm
Never
not
heard of
familiar
that.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
PS5 only games. I don't know. They're more indie looking. Let me Google it. Real quick.
Last month's games were really good. They had Wreckfest for PS5, which I was like,
Yeah.
awesome.
All right. Let's see.
I did
Yeah,
not
it
expect
looks like
that.
maybe VR. Yeah, it looks like a VR game to me. Maybe not. I don't know. But
Well,
yeah,
if it's only on PS5, then it's not a VR game.
that's true. So, yeah, I don't know. It's something. And then let's move into our final bit of news is regarding Sony once
Final bit,
again.
because you forgot something on
Oh,
here,
I know
and
what I forgot. Yeah, I'll fucking add it in. You and your boner for this game. It'll be after Uncharted. I can't even. What's the fucking name? Dead by Daylight. All right.
I don't necessarily have an attraction
I,
for it. It's just fun.
So Uncharted 4 is planned for a PC release according to some Sony investor relations documents. Now, on top of this, we found out that Horizon Zero Dawn saw a 250% return on investment, which is fucking amazing.
I thought you were gonna say return rate, and I was about to be like, see, all these people who agree with
So
me.
they made a ton of money on the PC launch of this game. No numbers on Days Gone yet, but Days Gone looks like it's actually might be performing better than that. So, I mean, that's really good for them. And they pretty much confirm here that Uncharted 4 is next for PC. Which I think that's shocking because I don't think a lot of people saw Uncharted 4 being a game that would go to PC.
No, people thought it came out back in 2016, and there's nothing they're really gonna do with that. And hey, if they go Uncharted 4, you know what that means next. You know what people are gonna be saying
Yep,
next.
I know.
Bloodborne. Bloodborne. There's no excuse if Uncharted 4 comes
Bloodborne's
to PC.
definitely coming to PC. It's probably just coming
And I'll
at
say
like a
this:
remaster or something.
if it comes to PC but not PS5, I'll fucking riot.
It will
I just
come to
want,
PS5 as well. But I mean, we
but
know that's going to come to PC. I would not be
which is
surprised if
incredible.
The Last of Us Part 2 comes to PC eventually. Probably The
I would,
Last of Us remake
yeah.
thing is going to come.
Oh, I
There's
forgot about that
Yeah, we all
fucking
think.
piece of shit that doesn't need to exist at all.
I would
thought you were gonna
imagine God of War comes to PC as well. I think that makes sense. Not the new one at launch, but God of War 4 technically. Get that out, get people excited for it, and then it definitely seems like they're becoming.
Spider-Man too. Well, actually, no. Spider-Man, I think they might want to keep on PlayStation for a while. I don't know. They could make a lot of money on PC, but Spider-Man's fucking huge.
I think really what their plan is, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's more of like, all right, 2 years after launch, this game is like 10, 15, $20 on sale all the time now. Let's get this on PC, release it at $60, and start making more money off it again. And I mean, that's
Yeah.
what they did with Horizon. They did it with Days Gone.
So maybe with Spider-Man, they'll wait like 3 years.
Yeah.
So maybe later this year in the fall or whatever.
I
they
mean,
wanna
I think
make
it
sure
makes
the
sense
next
right
one's
before the next
front.
Spider-Man comes out, like the next Spider-Man 2, which is probably going to be
Oh, Dying
2020.
Light 2 Deluxe and Standard are up on GameStop. Sorry to interrupt you, but if
That's
those
fine.
are up, the collectors are definitely not far behind.
All right. Well, let's move into our final topic, which you're going to carry the team on.
Well, I did just want to say one last thing about Uncharted 4.
I'll go
If for
for it.
some reason you have not played it yet, one, the hell's the matter with you? Two, it is probably the best adventure game ever made. And I know some, old heads are gonna come at me and be like, no, Secret of Monkey Island, way better. I'm like, yeah, the LucasArts games are classic. I'm not gonna deny you that. They are. So a lot of them are masterpieces like Grim Fandango and all that shit. But regardless, Uncharted 4 hits the spot. It's the brilliant conclusion to an already brilliant saga, and yeah, you're missing out if you don't experience it. When it comes to PC, I can't even imagine what they're gonna make that game look like. It'll probably just be one of the most beautiful things to behold, and I
Definitely.
can't wait to see what the modding community does once they get their hands on it.
All right. So you could close us out on this Dead by Daylight news, because
Well,
Got that
I forget
massive Sean crit.
I forget exactly the release date. I know it's June. I don't remember the exact day in June. But behavior, I don't even know the developer's name. I don't pay attention to all that stuff. I just play the game. But
June
they did
15th.
June 15th, they did come out and announce that a Resident Evil chapter will be coming to Dying Light. It will have Nemesis as the killer, and it will have Leon Kennedy and Jill Valentine both as playable survivors. Unfortunately, at least in the community test server, Jill and Leon aren't voiced by their RE actors, so they sound pretty
Oh,
fucking stupid. But hopefully that's just for the test server.
probably won't be.
Regardless, Nemesis is going to be broken as shit, and that's going to be real cancerous to deal with for a while, but it's going to be great to play as Nemi and DBD. And it's going to be great to play as Jill and Leon. I can't wait to see what perks they have. Hopefully there will be some lore callbacks with the names and the abilities, but yeah, I mean, first they had Silent Hill, so I feel like this is the natural progression. You got Pyramid Head, and they're putting Emmy in, and it's going to be a lot of fun, but meta's definitely going to be fucked royally for a solid month and a half, 2 months, maybe even longer. So it's bittersweet, but definitely as an RE fanatic, more sweet. I'll deal with the online BS for Nemi. I don't care.
All
But yeah,
right.
that's all I have to say on that. I just wanted to mention it a little bit.
Well, on that note, guys, thank you for watching. Next week should have a decent amount of discussion. We'll have some Horizon. We'll probably hear Mike go shit on the game some more. Well,
I wasn't
nah,
hating.
I'm
I
messing.
wasn't.
I know you're not. Nah, Mike's gonna love it, dude. He'll have a hard on for that game next weekend. He'll be talking about it for a whole 30-minute part. But yeah, I mean, we'll see you next time, guys. So thank you for watching.
Later, everyone.